So guys, the Akpabio-led Senate has equally headed to the United Nations to refute Senator Natasha's report. We know that Natasha was in the United States, to be specific, in New York, to present her report to the United Nations, after which she was told that they will equally want to hear from the other party. Now, the Senate has headed to the United Nations to present their own report. But guess what? They are saying that Natasha was not suspended because of the allegation, but because of gross misconduct. Nigerians, we want to know what this gross misconduct is all about. You can imagine telling lies on a broad daylight that Natasha wasn't suspended because of the allegations, rather because of gross misconduct. Anyway, guys, for better understanding of what the Senate told the UN, I want you to take your time and watch this video to the end to get the entire gist. Take a look for yourself.
Of the world, I have been mandated by the Nigerian National Assembly to present a response to Senator Natasha Akpabio's speech delivered yesterday in the 69th session of the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women. In response to the call by the President of the Interparliamentary Union, IPU, Right Honorable Tulia Aksen, to hear both sides of the matter, I have received a letter from the Nigerian Senate in my capacity as the chairman of the House Committee on Women Affairs and Social Development of our Parliament in Nigeria, and the parliamentarian representing Nigeria at this conference. But before I present the position paper of the Senate, I would like to reaffirm that Nigeria's unwavering commitment to the principles of justice cannot be overemphasized, to due process and to the protection of and fundamental human rights. As a nation, we recognize the gravity of sexual harassment and acknowledge the necessity of addressing such allegations with all sense of responsibility. Such allegations demand a thorough, impartial, and transparent investigation. At the same time, we must ensure that fairness is upheld for all individuals involved, and that justice is neither predetermined nor one-sided. Nigeria remains firmly committed to upholding women's rights and combating gender-based violence through strong legal frameworks and institutions. Our parliament and judiciary continue to undergo reforms to strengthen these efforts. The ongoing legislative initiatives seek to address historical imbalances in women's representation in our parliament, including the Reserved Seats Bill and other crucial proposed constitutional amendments aimed at safeguarding the rights and privileges of women. These efforts underscore our commitment to fostering a more inclusive and equitable political space. Throughout my career, I have consistently advocated for human and particularly women's rights. I firmly believe that every individual, regardless of their gender, status, or affiliation, is entitled to justice and fairness. The allegations against the Nigerian Senate and the Senate President, Akpabio, raised during the IPU conference yesterday have gathered significant attention both within Nigeria and internationally. Senator Natasha has expressed concerns regarding what she perceives as unfair treatment following the presentation of these serious claims. However, it is equally important to acknowledge that the Senate President, in his official capacity, has strongly denied these allegations. In the spirit of transparency and fairness, I now wish to read this letter from the Senate in its entirety, and it is crucial that all perspectives are heard and that all aspects of the situation are duly considered. Upon the presentation of the position paper of the Nigerian Senate, it is important to recognize that both the allegations made and the responses provided are serious matters that require careful and unbiased scrutiny. This issue, which remains sub judice, involves multiple elements, including allegations of sexual harassment and potential violations of Senate rules. While it is necessary to engage in introspection and understand any potential connections, these matters must also be considered separately. It is imperative that we uphold the principles of fairness and ensure that no individual is prematurely judged without a transparent and impartial process. Therefore, I call for the following actions: a thorough and unbiased investigation ensuring that all claims and defenses are examined fairly and transparently, protection of all parties involved, safeguarding the rights of all individuals, and preventing any form of intimidation or retaliation. 3. Accountability and transparency, upholding institutional integrity by ensuring that due process is rigorously followed. As representative of the people, it is our duty to ensure that a fair and transparent resolution is achieved, most importantly ensuring that we uphold justice, fairness, and posterity to judge us right. Thank you. I will now go straight to the position paper of the Senate. And the next voice you'll be hearing from here will be the voice of the Senate leader of the Senate, Senator Akpabio Bamidele, CON, the leader of the Senate, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Senator Natasha Wasn was suspended for gross misconduct and unruly behavior, and not as a result of allegation of sexual harassment or assault. The authority of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria firmly rebukes the deliberate misinformation and false narratives being circulated by certain media organizations regarding the six-month suspension of Senator Natasha Wasn. Let it be unequivocally stated that Senator Wasn was suspended solely for a persistent act of misconduct, blatant disregard for the provisions of the Senate Standing Orders 2023 as amended, and gross indiscipline. Nothing more, nothing less. This is still the voice of the leader of the Senate. It has come to the attention of the Senate that some media reports are attempting to falsely suggest that Senator Wasn's suspension was due to allegations of sexual harassment. This is completely untrue, misleading, and a calculated attempt to distort the facts. If Senator Wasn had strictly followed our guiding principles, the Senate would have treated her petition based on merit in line with its practice, but she never obeyed the established practices of the institution where she was serving. The facts of the suspension. This is still the voice of the Senate leader. Senator Wasn's suspension was a decision of the Committee of the Whole Senate, following the submission of a report by the chairman of the Senate Committee on Ethics and Privileges. The report found her guilty of violating sections 6.1 and 6.2 of the Senate rules and recommended her immediate suspension. The disciplinary action was a response to her repeated violations of legislative decorum, including 1. Refusing to sit in her assigned seat during plenary on the 25th February 2025, despite multiple pleas from the leadership and other ranking senators, an act of open defiance and disorderly conduct. 2. Speaking without being recognized by the presiding officer in clear violation of parliamentary practices and procedures on the 25th February 2025. 3. engaging in unruly and disruptive behavior, obstructing the orderly conduct of Senate proceedings. 4. Making abusive and disrespectful remarks against the leadership of the Senate. 5. Defying and refusing to comply with the summons of the Senate Committee on Ethics and Privileges mandated to investigate cases of misconduct. These actions represented a direct challenge to the authority of the Senate and a violation of the Senate Standing Orders 2023 as amended that govern the business of the Senate and the conduct of its members. The disciplinary measure was therefore necessary and justified to restore order and uphold the integrity of the Senate of the country's foremost democratic institution. This is still the voice of the leader of the Senate. On the petition and allegations, contrary to the false claims being circulated, Senator Udwara was not suspended for making any sexual harassment or for submitting a petition. Her petition was rightfully discountenanced because it failed to meet the clear and established procedural requirements for submitting petitions to the Senate. The rules of the Senate apply to all members without exception, and no petition, regardless of its subject, can be considered if it does not follow due process. To suggest that a suspension was linked to a petition is not only a distortion of facts, but an intentional and malicious attempt to mislead the public. This is still the voice of the leader of the Senate. Condemnation of misleading media reports. The Senate strongly condemns the irresponsible and unethical reporting by some media organizations that have deliberately twisted the facts to suit a false narrative. This coordinated misinformation campaign is nothing more than an attempt to politicize a disciplinary action that was strictly based on clear violations of Senate Standing Orders 2023 as amended. It is reckless, misleading, and a disservice to the people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the whole world who deserve truthful and factual reporting. We therefore urge all foreign correspondents and responsible media houses to correct these misrepresentations and avoid propagating falsehoods that undermine the integrity of Nigeria's legislative process. This is still the voice of the leader of the Senate. Conclusion. The Senate remains committed to upholding discipline, order, and parliamentary ethics. No senator, I repeat, no senator, regardless of status, gender, or political affiliation, is above the rules of the Senate. Senator Udwara's suspension was a direct consequence of her actions and nothing else. We urge the public and the media to disregard any false reports suggesting otherwise and to always seek the truth before spreading politically motivated narratives. Signed, Senator Bamidele Okweyemi, CON, Leader of the Senate, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, colleagues, for listening. I think at this point, I don't know, members of the press will have anything, questions to ask before we call it a day. I see no request for the floor. So thank you for your rapt attention, and here ends the briefing by the House Committee Chair on Women and Social Development, Honorable Kafilat.
So guys, now the Akpabio-led Senate is saying that the reason behind Natasha's suspension is not because of the harassment claim. I'm just wondering, is it that they think Nigerians can just easily forget? They are going to an international platform and they're already telling lies. That it's not because of Natasha, claiming that she's being harassed by Akpabio that led to her suspension. If not that, what else? Because we don't know any other thing that Natasha did that led to that. We were not told that is because she refused to take her seat. No. When they were suspending her, they said she brought the Senate to the world. She exposed the Senate. She brought the Senate so low. She disgraced the Senate because she raised that alarm on Arise television. That was actually why she was being suspended. And now the Senate is saying, no, it's not because of that we suspended her. We suspended her because of her gross misconduct. What is it that Natasha did differently that led to her suspension? Is it because she refused to sit on the seat that they gave her that led to 6 months suspension? Nigerians, you see, we know that we have leaders who will tell you A in the morning and their A becomes a B in the evening. Now they think that, the world is still in the dark. No, we are no longer in the dark. All these United Nations women you saw in the video when Natasha made her presentation, they've all seen this video. It's trending everywhere. We are living in a global war, a global village. Natasha was suspended because of her, alleged harassment claim by Senator Akpabio. That was what led to this suspension, because the Senate felt she embarrassed them to have come out to lay this allegation. Don't forget that even Akpabio's wife came out to say she's suing Natasha. This is just the only thing Natasha committed. I mean, the only crime. If they are saying that this is not the reason for which she's being suspended, they should come and tell Nigerians what else again. We don't know any other problem that exists between Akpabio and Natasha, if not this sex harassment. If not this harassment claim. And it's so sad that our Senate can just sit down, cook whatever, bring it to the public and think people will just admit it. No, Nigerians know what happened. All over the world, people saw everything that happened on the Senate floor. How people were suggesting, fellow senators were suggesting, even the senator who got to the Senate floor through the Labour Party was voted by obedience. Guess what? He was the one that suggested a 6 months suspension of Natasha. And now the Senate is trying to, draw back from that claim and say, no, we did not suspend her because of her allegation. We suspended her because of her misconduct. Which other misconduct did Natasha commit? You guys should tell us. Which other misconduct did Natasha did that led to her suspension? That you all withdrew her security, tell her she should never parade herself as a senator, whether in Nigeria, outside Nigeria, and whatever. Oh my God. You find out that Nigerian politicians are just power-drunk set of people. Power-drunk set of people. Now they've transgressed and they are looking for a way to amend their mistakes now. If it is in Nigeria, now you see the courts going to cite them, like what we've seen in Rivers State. People that defected, the court said they didn't defect. The court said they didn't defect. So Nigeria is a place where you say one thing in the morning, in the evening you are saying something else, and you want everybody to believe you, to admit to what you said, hook, line, and sinker, to accept it. You suspended this lady because she raised alarm over her being, harassed. And now you are telling the United Nations that it's not because of allegations that you suspended her. Tell us what crime has Natasha committed? Because she was given a seat and she said she doesn't want to sit there. Is that the reason behind 6 good months of suspension? Nigerians, is that the reason behind 6 good months of her being suspended, being denied of security aids, being denied of her salary, being denied of, she parading herself as a senator, both home and abroad. So you just find out that these senators, they know they've erred. They didn't expect Natasha to go this far, They didn't know that Natasha, within the space of how many, 1, 2, 3 days, Natasha was in the United States, was in New York, sat down and did a presentation. Now they are panicking. They are telling the United Nations that, oh, it's not because of her harassment claim that we suspended her. It's because of her gross misconduct. It is only in Nigeria that things like this will be happening. Anyway, they are just selling themselves. They are telling the world what kind of people they are. They are just telling the international community the kind of human beings we have in leadership positions in Nigeria. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell. Please give this video a like so that YouTube can recommend it to others, and drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you.